Having a winch is one of the main forms of recovery off-road, and it's always useful to have one. However, if you don't have a winch-ready aftermarket front bumper, or if you have your OEM front bumper that doesn't have a winch plate on your 87-06 TJ or YJ, this can become a dilemma. This Rugged Ridge universal winch plate will be the solution to that, allowing you to bolt up any standard winch with either one of those bumper options. I would like to mention that for the install, you will need grade 5 bolts or higher for the winch plate to secure properly. Speaking of the install, this will be a very simple 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and I'll tell you more about it in just a moment. The design of this winch plate was very well thought out by Rugged Ridge, considering this will be compatible with really any winch, and also being compatible with basically any front bumper. It's designed to bolt through the holes in your OEM front bumper to bolt to the frame, and it's rated to fit with most aftermarket bumpers like I mentioned before. However, I would like to mention that this will not work with some aftermarket front bumpers like the Rugged Ridge tubular bumpers, and some aftermarket front bumpers will require minor modification to get this winch plate to bolt up. The winch plate itself will mount any standard winch that has a footprint of 10 by 4.5 inches, which most winches have. It's strong and it's made of a solid steel with a black powder coat finish to resist any rust or corrosion, making this a very long-lasting part. Compared to Rugged Ridge's other options for a winch plate, this is a flat plate and it's pretty low profile, and it will fit very well on your OEM bumper or even with any aftermarket bumper that has a raised bull bar. The only drawback I do see, which may not be a drawback for some, is that the fairlead opening is a little bit smaller than other options. However, you will have plenty of room in the opening for your line, and you can bolt up either a roller or a Haas fairlead. This winch plate will actually be your most affordable option for a universal winch plate, right next to the rough country option at right around $70 at the moment. This does have a 1-up on the rough country option though, with Rugged Ridge's 5-year limited warranty, if that's something that you look for when choosing mods for your Wrangler. Other more expensive options include a flat winch plate with a similar style from Smittybilt, as well as raised winch plate options like I mentioned before. Those choices will run you about $10 to even $40 more, and there is one option by Smittybilt that is only compatible with the 97-06 TJ instead of both the TJ and the YJ model. If a raised plate was something that you were looking for a bit of an elevated look and functional clearance, those are also great choices to look at. But if you were looking for something simple and universal at a great price, this is going to be for you. This will be a very straightforward install at 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. You will only need a couple of hand tools and about an hour's worth of your time to get everything hooked up. First things first, you will have to remove the front OE top mounting hardware and check your bolts for their ratings, which can be found on the bolt head. Then you can remove the plastic frame cover. The YJ model's frame cover will not be reusable, however TJ's will be able to reuse the frame cover with a little bit of trimming. In some situations, it may be necessary to install the winch to the plate before installing the plate on the frame. If the winch manufacturer recommends bolting the winch before, follow those manufacturer's instructions. However, if you do have enough room, install the winch plate first. For the YJs, place the winch plate over the bumper and align the mounting holes using the first and the third holes provided, using the spacer if needed for the rear mounting points. For a TJ, you will use the first, second, and fourth holes for attachment. For the TJs, the front retaining bolt for the front sway bar will need to be removed. Then you can place the winch plate over the frame and reinstall those bolts without the spacer for your OE bumper and with the spacer for any aftermarket bumpers greater than 1/8 inch thick. Then you can tighten everything down and you're all set for winching. So if you're looking for an affordable universal winch plate for the front of your 87-06 YJ or TJ, Rugged Ridge has your back. This is Meredith with XT, and you can find this winch plate and everything else Wrangler right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.